In this video I'm going to talk and show you a beautiful eye makeup look with the Kryolan Shimmering Vision palette, which is a cream eyeshadow palette. Now of course these colors are very bold and also very beautiful. You have shimmers in it, you have mattes in it, so you can go basically crazy with this palette. Now all these shadows are cream shadows, which means that it's completely different to powder eyeshadows, and you have like a very magical moment, I would say, because you can use the cream shadows not only for your eyes but basically for any face makeup as well, as it is Kryolan, which is basically a brand that goes for natural beauties, for natural makeup, but as well with FX makeup or theater makeup. So you basically can go crazy with this palette. Now I'm going to demonstrate you one eye makeup look with several shades. I would go into the pinkish shades first. Like this is, I'm in the mood when it comes to the red pinkish tones right here. And I've created already one makeup look where I've used loads of blues, which is basically one on the pictures like on my Instagram feed. So I'm just going to go with something different this time. Now it has, like, this palette has a large mirror. I can't, like, it's very reflecting, but it has a large mirror. So the size of the palette is basically also the size of the mirror. So this is basically the size of the mirror. Now when it comes to Kryolan, it's similar to Ben Nye. They are very well known when it comes to having them like very often in makeup school. So if you're in a makeup school or you want to like get to know makeup in general, then they mainly go with Ben Nye and Kryolan, because these are, I would say, kind of the first brands that came out with makeup for theater, for FX makeup, etc. And they also have beautiful shades for an everyday person. Now, when it comes to the price point, this palette is expensive. It's definitely not drugstore, but it's very well known also for the formula that they are creating. When it comes to Kryolan, they are creating the formula on their own. This company is still one company. It's not owned by anyone, like larger companies. So well, for me personally, it definitely goes to the quality and also what they put inside. So there's no harshness. It's not going to irritate your skin. It's very like, basically every skin can use it and you won't have any problems with the products. So that's why I wanted to point this out first. I love Kryolan products. Some of you might already know because I've talked on this on my channel as well. So I'm going to start off basically with a beautiful eye makeup look. Now I'm not going to say that it's simple, as the palette is definitely not simple and natural. So let's have some fun with it. Now I'm going to make sure that I have nothing like on my face basically, so I'm just going to put my hair back and I'm going to start off with the cream shadows. So I have my brushes basically in front of me, and you will see which brush I'm going to use. I'm not sure yet, it just depends on what comes up in my mind basically. And what I wanted to point out is that these cream shadows won't set themselves, so they are not going to dry on their own. Some cream shadows do, but this one doesn't, so you want to make sure that you're going to set it with some setting powder. Now, I've recently also done a review on the Kryolan setting powder, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use both Kryolan products, the palette and the setting powder, just to make sure that everything sits nicely and won't move during the day. And when it comes to cream shadows, it's perfect also if you have very dry lids, as it feels very comfortable on your lid area as well. And if you're going to set it with setting powder, it's like first waterproof, second it won't crease and it just will stick on your eyelids, so once you have applied them. Now, people might think that sometimes cream shadows can dry too quick, so they can't really work them in. With this one, you won't have the problem that it's going to dry, as it won't dry. You need to like basically dry it with powder, so you can take your own time as long as you need and then go in with the powder and basically set it, which I do enjoy. I like that. I like also shadows that dry. Sometimes the shadows just dry too quick for me as well, where I just wanted to have a bit more time to do a better blending, like basically technique, so that it will look beautiful. And I have the time to blend it as much as I want, so if I'm satisfied with it, I'm going to stop with it and use the setting powder. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off, we are going to use some bold colors. I'm going to start off with the red tone right here, which I'm going to use in my crease. Now the reason why I'm choosing this one is because it's a matte shadow, so I'm going to take the matte shadow in my crease, then maybe go also into some white. I'm not sure yet, we'll see how it turns out. And I'm going to use the shimmer mainly on my main lid area. So let's start off with some red shadow. So I'm going to use a brush like this, which is a medium fluffy brush. It's a blending brush. I'm not going too fluffy first because then I won't have enough control on how I'm going to blend it. Later on I'm going in with this one as well. So I'm going to start off with this brush and I'm going in the red shadow. Like not shadow, sorry, cream shadow. And I have it on my brush. I'm going to start off with a little bit and I'm going to add more if I feel like it. It just like, we just have fun with the colors basically. And this is basically also what the palette tells me. You just have to have fun with makeup. So I'm going to start in and work it into the crease. Now you want to make sure that if you're going to use the shadows, that you're not going to overload the brush, as then you won't be able to blend it properly. Because now I've just used a tiny bit and it basically goes already a long way, as it is cream, which means the pigment is there, and the more you use, the trickier it gets to blend if you're using it with a brush. So just make sure that you're going into it if you need to, and when you don't need to, make sure that you're able to blend it. So for me, the moment it looks like it's a powder shadow, as I've used just a tiny bit, but I'm still able to blend it. And it won't, like I could go in harsh so that the redness would come off like extreme. But I just wanted to keep it still into a beauty makeup. So I'm not going to do a drag makeup look or whatsoever. I still wanted to keep it into the beauty area where you can wear it, depending on what you're wearing and also depending on where you're going. For me personally, I'm that type of person that would wear something like this for work as well, just because I feel like colors and like beautiful eyeshadows won't stop me from wearing it. It just depends on how comfortable you feel like yourself within it. So I'm still using the same brush, I'm using circular motions. And I'm basically just going to start off with focusing on the crease, as this is the main area where I want to make sure that the blending is on point, as this is something that will make it look a little bit more, like not natural looking, but more beauty natural looking when it comes to the makeup. So it's not theater makeup, which I'm going to recreate. So I'm just going to start off as I normally would use the cream shadows with like how I would use the eyeshadows itself as well, just in this case with the cream ones. Now I'm good with that. Now I'm going to move on to a different shadow. I might go into the white one later on just to make sure that the blending around the edges is a bit like smoother, but for the moment I'm going to use another blending brush, which is small. It's very similar to that one, it's a bit smaller, and I'm going to use a different shade for the outer area. So I have the brush and I'm now going to focus on this shade right here. It has a little bit of shimmer in it, not too much, which is alright, and I'm going to focus this now on the outer part, just because it's like from the pinkish reddish tones, this is the darkest. I'm not going to dig into blue or orange or whatsoever, as I wanted to keep the shades in the same theme. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dig into the purple shade as well, get some on my brush and focusing it on the outer area. So using the brush, circular motions as well, and I'm going to focus it on the outer part. Now the reason it's a bit of a shimmer with this one, but it still is a bit darker than the red tone, and I just feel like I don't want to mix it up with dark blue, as dark blue would be perfect for the outer corner area, but I just don't feel like that the red and blue now would match up just on how I'm feeling. So when I'm creating looks, I'm always creating them based on how I feel, how I like, mainly also what I wear, when I'm going to wear it. Is it for work? Is it for school? Is it for being at home? So, you know, like, I mean, you can't go wrong with makeup. It just depends on how you personally feel, and this is also how you're going to create your looks. So I'm going to keep this now on the main area. I'm going to build it up. So, and I'm also going to bring it a little bit towards the crease, not too much. Now I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to mainly press it right here. And then I'm going back in with the brush. I'm going to blend it. So now I'm going to move on to the main lid area. What you can do is, if you feel like you're losing a little bit of the control, like when it comes to your shape, use a sponge, use a brush where you applied your foundation with, and you always can clean it up. And also lift basically your eye area right here. Now I'm going on the lower lash line as well. I just want to make sure that I'm not losing the control on how I wanted to shape it. So what I'm going to do now is, I haven't set anything with powder yet. I'm going to do this basically as my last step, and the powder can also help you to get the blending a bit better. Now I'm going into this shade right here, which is lighter, but it still is into the pinkish range. And I might also go into the pinkish one right here, which is matte as well, but we'll see. So I'm basically just coming up with ideas while I'm doing it. So I'm going to get it on my finger. This is now the lighter shade, and this is also a shimmer shade, which is why I wanted to have it on my main lid area at first. And because I haven't set the shadow yet, like the cream shadow yet, I can work with it. So everything is still creamy, but just because I used less product of everything, it won't crease directly. It will crease if I would wear it now for a whole day, because you're going to do a lot of movement. But while I'm applying it, it sticks basically on where I have applied it. And this is what I like about the product. You can work it in. You have no troubles with blending, as everything is very easy to work with. So having it now right here. And now I'm basically going in with the smaller brush. Let me see. With a smaller brush, it's the same as the one that I've used for the outer corner, just a clean one. And I'm going into that pinkish tone that I've just showed you earlier, this one. And I'm going to put it in a crease as well, so that I can blend the light pinkish shade with the red, so that it goes from pinkish tones into the reddish tones. Going into it, and I'm going to start blending it in the crease, so that we have a beautiful connection from the pinkish side to the reddish tones. And I'm working it into the red shadow as well, so that it will turn a bit more towards the pinkisher, like pinkish theme. But the red shadow was a beautiful But the red shadow was a beautiful base to start off with, and then from there on I'm basically just going to create the look. Just dig into the light shade again, just to have a bit more control. I'm just going to keep on blending and basically blend all the shadows together. I'm using the brush very light-handed, so I'm not going to press on it a lot. I'm going back in with the brush that I've used for the red shadow. I'm just going over it again. And I haven't digged into the red shadow, I just want to have a bit more precision when it comes to the blending. And now I'm going to use a bit of powder on the upper part. So for that one, I'm going to use a bigger brush, a fluffier brush like this. I have some translucent powder in the lid, and I'm just going to press it slightly on top of it. Very, very light-handed. And then it will turn from a cream shadow into a powder shadow. So now this is basically set. What I always wanted to do to get a bit of the shimmer back when it comes to the main lid area, I'm going to take my finger, go into the light shimmer again. I'm just going to press it on top again. So basically I'm going to layer it. I'm just going to keep it very light-handed. And because I still have powder on my lid area, it will stick to the powder and the powder will absorb the cream area, so that I don't have to use any powder on top of it yet, as this is on the main lid area, so it won't The crease part is more the important part where you need to set it, as this is where your eye basically will go, like where you open up your eye and close your eye. But with the main lid area, it won't really happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same brushes, and I'm going to focus on the lower lash line. So let's start off with the pinkish one that's matte. I'm going to focus it on the lower lash line. And basically connect it towards the outer part. So now I'm going to take the brush where I've used the red on it. I'm going to dig into the red, and I'm going to pop this underneath as well, so that we are basically going to recreate the shades that we've just used above. So a bit of powder, so I'm going to use the fluffy brush, dig into some translucent powder, and I'm going to pop this underneath. And there you have a beautiful eye makeup with, like, I haven't applied mascara, but with only using the cream shadows by Kryolan. Now once you're done with the other eye as well, you can just finish it up basically with using a bit of mascara, and that's what I'm going to do right now. I've also noticed, like, it just came up into my mind, I don't know why, you actually could use the cream shadows as well as like using it as a blush. Like the shades that I've just applied, the light pinkish one, you could also use it as a blush, which would do a beautiful makeup look as well, and the combination of it is just amazing. I can't really use it on top of it because I've powdered already my face, but I just let you know that you can also use it for your cheeks as well. And I'm just going to use the mascara, and I'm going to apply it onto my lashes so that everything will come together. Now once you're done with the mascara as well, the whole look comes together and you just can enjoy the beautiful eye makeup look that you just came up with. Basically also that's what I've just done. So just have fun with the palette. And just because it's like a very colorful palette doesn't mean that it should scare you. You just should have fun with it and try to go wild and also have fun with new colors. Even though you would say that you're never going to wear them, just try something new and who knows, you might like it. This is what happened to me as I ordered it basically, because it's like cream shadows. You can use them for your face, eyes, lips, so you can go crazy with it. It's not only in my eyes, it's not only an eye makeup palette. For me, I can use it for so many different purposes, especially blush, lips and eyes. This is first what comes up into my mind. Now, I also want to say that they come with a brush, like there is a brush that's inside of the palette, and it's a very precise brush, which means that you could use it for the main lid area or for detail work, but when it comes to blending and the makeup look that I've just created, I just would go with your finger or with larger brushes, just because this one is also a perfect lip brush in my case, and this is also how I would use it. I also would use it for my main lid area, but I wouldn't use it to create like a whole eye makeup look, just because I feel like I won't be able to use it for like a beautiful blend. That's why I just picked the rounded brushes, which are a bit fluffier but not too much, just to get a bit more precision and a beautiful blend at the end. Now this was a beautiful sentence as well. Now, I just feel like the Kryolan Cream Palette is a beautiful palette, and if you are someone that likes art, that loves to go crazy, just go with it. It also has does not really have a fragrance, but it just reminds me of my childhood when I used to get the face paint on. This is what it smells like. It doesn't smell bad. There's no fragrance in it, but it just reminds me of that. So it's a beautiful childhood memory as well. And I also want to say that because the products are a bit pricier when it comes to Kryolan, they do have eyeshadow palettes, like powder eyeshadow palette as well. So if you're someone that's looking for a beautiful palette that's not giving you any irritation, that who the formula are created on their own, like from the company itself, not from someone else, then I definitely also would recommend getting you the powder eyeshadow palette, and I'm about to get also my hands on that one as well. Not now, but I'm just thinking of, there's like a beautiful colorful palette as well, but they have also a neutral tone, so it's not only one. They have several, and I just feel like that these palettes have all the shades that you need. Like they have neutral ones, they have pastel, they have bright and bold color, so they have everything that you can imagine, and you can create basically every eye makeup look that you can dream of. So if you're that kind of person, I definitely would go ahead and purchase one. I just love Kryolan because I got to know it when I was at the makeup school, and I just feel like not many people are talking about it. First, because it's not overhyped. Second, because there's like a good like quality when it comes to the products. And third, it's mainly used where I got to know it, in schools, or if you're on the not really fashion show, but if you're going to create more FX makeup or theater makeup, this is where drag queens use it as well. So this is more the common area where you will see Kryolan and Ben Nye, but like people always forget they do have makeup for an everyday person. They have beautiful natural shades, and they won't go out of time. Like the shades are, I don't know, there forever just because everyone likes to wear them. So if you're going out, you would say you are going to use brown shadows. They do have brown shadows. They might not have like every single brown tone you think you can imagine, but they have the main shades, which won't change a lot if you're being honest, because you're going to stick with the same shades all the time. Like this is how you get into a routine. So I just want to say that please don't forget about this brand, because it's a beautiful brand as well, and they do quality products. So I really enjoy the palette. I love the products. It's not the first time that I'm playing around with Kryolan products, and I just can recommend it to people who basically wanted to like get some quality products. Then I definitely would recommend it to you as well. Now I'm just going to take my hair back down. I'm going to enjoy this makeup look. I hope that you like it as well, and if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm always happy to answer them, and I will see you soon in the next video. Bye!